Boom. And just like that, he was live. It's Wednesday night. It's Wednesday night in the UK. It's 3 p.m. in the US of A, Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure what the time it is in California. Probably, I don't know, somewhere back Stone Age. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, a warm welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for being here and for tuning in. So I'm just going to do my usual piece here. I just want to make sure I've got the different streams open. So that requires me to click in a few bits and bobs, which I only really do when the stream's live, to be honest, because it's too much hassle to do it beforehand. So let me just see if I am live on the Gettrs. I'm just checking. I'm live over in the Getterverse. Looks like I am. So a warm welcome to everybody on the Gettrs. It's 9 a.m. Hawaiian style. Aloha. So to you, Donny Girl, good to see you. And Leslie Butler and Matty. And hello to Christian Conservative. So I'm very pleased to see you here. Thank you very much for being with me on the over in the Getterverse. So I know there's so many different live streams happening at these times, and you know, the way I see it, I do my stuff, other people do their stuff, and you guys can choose to watch it. You can watch it live, you can watch it in replay. There's so many different options you have because we're broadcasting tonight across the interzooms. We're on the D lives. Always forget about D live. We're on the D lives. We're on the Odysseys. We are on the Gettrs, obviously the Rumbles. We're in the Facebooks because we love a bit of censorship. Oh, we love some censorship. And of course, YouTube. Don't forget YouTube when you want to get some. Oh, Donny Girl has now jumped over onto Gettrs. Say, this is. I love it. I love it actually when people jump across the streams. It forces me to have to read. All right, a couple of things to do then before we get into the meat of the night. I want to give Tommy Robinson's new book called Silence a Plug. Wishing Tommy Robinson every success with that, with his new book. A man much more sinned against than sinning, I think. I know he's not to everybody's taste, but hi, Gene Wallace, my friend. Good to see you as well. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sauntering in to the David Vance Salon on a Wednesday night as we put the world to right. Donny Girl's telling me she's at work, so she's watching on YouTube in a Mac and listening on Gettr on my head. See, that's mega multitasking. If I try to do that, ask my producer, Jed, that would not be a good result. Yes, it's good to see over on Gettrs here. Someone, Christian Conservative, saying she has a website where, or he or she does a website where, oh, sorry, did I just assume your gender? Christian Conservative has a website where they do live streams to give the youth a voice. Very worthy as well. Richie Dupe says, "Oh, Tommy, hi." Let me see what Richie Dupe is up to. Oh, he's here. He's here with us in the studio. Now listen. Before we kick off, there's lots of stories we could have talked about. I've got lots of stories I can talk about to you. There's never a shortage of things to talk about. If I can just get everything lined up here. For example, did you see the big news that the multi-billionaire mogul, Rupert Murdoch, a young 91-year-old, is divorcing Jerry Hall, a strapping 65-year-old, yeah, after 6 years of marriage. Oh my, what a shocker. Got to wonder at these multi-billionaires. I was very surprised when he married her. But I'm not really. Does anything surprise you anymore? Hi, Joshua McKinney. A shout out to joshuamckinney.org on the. Now, I want to read your comments as always. Old Baz wants to know who's getting a polio booster. Me. I want about 6 polio boosters because you can't be too safe. And actually, old Baz and everyone else, you need to watch out for another story I saw. Guess what, guys? There's a new super gonorrhea bug going around. Apparently, an Austrian man, get this, has, see, what other live stream gives you this stuff? That's what I have to say. An Austrian man catches a drug-resistant strain of this sexually transmitted infection from a Cambodian prostitute, as experts claim the virus poses a major global threat. Oh, really? I don't think so. I'm not. That's going to be a problem for probably any sane person. Also, I mean, so what? Some guy catches it from a Cambodian, and it's a global problem. It's like monkeypox on steroids. You probably would be on steroids actually if you had monkeypox. Of course, we're on YouTube's, so I mean, I have to be upfront with you on YouTube's and Facebook's and say it's super duper. Hang on a second. Guys, we have got a hitch. Right, okay. I'm being told there's a problem streaming to Gettr. So can I just ask everyone, sorry about this, guys, but I've got a message come up here on my screen. Is everyone on Gettr able to see and hear me? And if so, raise your hand. Raise your hand and give me an amen if you can see me and hear me on the Gettrs. I know on the YouTubes it's working, but there's a problem here on Gettr. So it says I'm frozen on Gettr. Yeah. Hey, old Baz, it says it's keep freezing. Yeah, this is not a David Vance issue. This is a Gettr issue. I'm not too sure what the issue is. Jed says we are good on Gettr. So yeah, it's annoying that, isn't it? I mean, what Gettr got. It's probably climate change, folks. It's causing the problem there. If not, racism. So these are the issues. So yeah. Somebody says it's freezing in here. It's delayed now. Oh, this is depressing. Jed, would you like to join me in the studio? And have we got the technical problems tonight before we've even started, really?
Good evening, David. Good evening, everybody. I'm streaming it on the Getterverse on another device, and it looks fine for me, David, at the moment. It doesn't seem to be freezing, and the comments are still coming through. So, that message is now gone away in our streaming software.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, guys. So as I say, I mean, maybe it was me talking about super gonorrhea. Maybe that was just too much for Gettr. I wouldn't have thought so, mind you. But yeah, I mean, those are a couple of stories that I thought about talking about. And then this is the sort of nonsense that entertains me. Oh yeah, polio. Polio may be spreading in Britain, Jed, for the first time in 40 years. A strange new strain of the paralysis-causing virus.
But David, Lundistan. That's where.
That's weird, doesn't it? London.
What a surprise! I wonder what's happened to London over the past decade. I can't quite put my finger on it.
No.
Can the guys and girls in the chat maybe tell us? It's on the tip of my tongue why that might have happened in Lundistan, but I can't.
Yeah.
No.
It's weird between that and super gonorrhea, and of course the ever-present danger of monkeypox. There's so much stuff to get to, but look, let's kick into the main topics for tonight. So guys, if you're in the UK, you'll be well aware of this. If you're out of the UK, you're well out of it actually. We have got the major rail strike, which started yesterday. And happily, Jed, I've got to say, when I was across in England there at the weekend, I was across in the fine city of Bath. And to get to Bath from Bristol airport, I had to get trains back and stuff. So I was on the train network. And I've got to be honest, Jed, I mean, the train stations are very busy places. A lot of people. I couldn't see any staff particularly, but lots of punters. So we've got this thing today. Let's just bring it up, Jed, the first headline, and then we'll have a chat about millions faced delays and congestion on the first day of the strike, which I think was yesterday. Today is day 2 of the strike. So, apparently there's a lot of I read about somebody paid 145 quid to take a taxi from Portsmouth up to London to get some operation or whatever done. So, Republican Rocker says Biden loves trains. Problem is, Republican Rocker, if Biden was on a train, there's a chance he might fall out of it. Yeah.
Well, he's better on a train than on a bike.
Yeah, but by the same token, a monkey, and with all due respect to your image, Jed, would be safer on.
Whoa, David. We'll have no racism on this stream.
Yes, exactly. We mustn't be monkeyist, because that's a thought crime. People, how dares people have a go?
You're primating me, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got your question, David. The thing is, thing that gets me, the Labour Party has always been fighting for workers. But actually, they don't, do they? And the unions don't. Because the only unions that we see going out on strike and forcing the British public into, in some cases, dire straits are places like rail, civil service, hospitals, teachers. Who pays their wages? We. The bloody taxpayer pay it. And what they're asking for, particularly the rail strike, is what? I think it's 11% or 12%, David? Something like that. Oh, because they're so hard done by. Do you know how much a true tube train driver gets, basic? 60 grand a year. Yeah. And they're saying they can't live on that.
Yeah, I remember, Jed, back in the day when I lived in England, my next door neighbor worked. He was a train driver on the London Underground. He used to travel down every day, they seem to be doing pretty well. That's a long time ago, admittedly, but the thing is, I see somebody on the Gettrs, Scackleton, says he supports the strikers. I wish we could bring you on the stream so you could tell us that. I've got. Jez, I've got to say, I've got sort of mixed views on this one, because you're right about.
Hang on, is it train strike or trans strike? Is it just a spelling mistake? Sorry, I'm in that sort of mood today.
We can't. That could be transphobia. That's as bad as a primate phobia, which we've already identified 2 new forms of phobia. We wouldn't be going for 13 minutes, but see, the thing I feel about it is that the public sector, which essentially this is glorified public sector, they do hold us to ransom because they can, so there's that. But then, Jed, I'm conflicted in this one, because, by the same token, okay, so the trade unions have brought the trains, the infrastructure to a halt. Yeah, but in 2020, Boris Johnson brought the entire UK to a halt. So,
and use taxpayers' money to fund that.
He used tax. Yeah, he did, because of the Richie Sunak funding the furlough. So so I consider Johnson as bad as so I damn them all, basically, Jed. That's my angle on it. But Jason O'Brien makes a really good point here, which is actually linking back to my experience. You see, when I went to the train station, you didn't go to a ticket booth, to see a human being. You just you went to a machine, you punched in a couple of buttons, you got your ticket. You then went through a barrier, an automatic barrier. There wasn't anybody there. The train pulled in. I can't remember seeing a guard, Jed, along the line. And you got on it, and then you got off it. And the whole journeys that I did, I didn't really see. Who are these people? Oh, obviously somebody's driving the train. I get that, I suppose, but I never saw them.
The thing is, David, we talk about, and I'm going to throw something into the mix here. We talk about automated cars, driverless cars. Why can't we have a driverless train? You don't even have to bloody steer it.
Yeah,
all you have to do is accelerate and slow down. Well, you could do that by a computer.
Yeah, no.
We don't need the train driver. Get rid of him. We don't need the conductor. Get rid of him. We don't need the ticket at the office, because you can go to a machine and it'll print it out for you. We don't need people at the barriers. They can sort of. Actually, we don't need any train workers. We just need people to fix the trains and fix the track. That's it. Let's sack them all, save ourselves a few bucks.
Well, there you go, friends. And you think I'm bad, Jed, proving that he's even more rabid than I am. But you're not. Listen. I agree. And Jed, I've actually been. There are some train journeys, short train journeys now, admittedly. And on these trains, there's one I think I've used to get over in Zurich. There was a train you went on, and there's nobody on it. There's no driver. There's nobody. It was automatic. It took you from point A to point B. And there's also one up, I think, at the NEC in Birmingham. It's more of a shuttle, but again, works perfectly well. No staff. So I agree with you. You go, Jed. You are already getting a fan club here for Prime Minister.
Of course, I've got a fan club. I've got my favourite one, Leslie Butler. She always gives me a good thumbs up, and Jason. Yeah. I have my fan club, David.
Well, yeah, I see it. Well, actually, you're getting support from the other side of the channel because I see City Troll, our friend Patty here, is in agreement as well. I mean, this is where these people in these sectors, they think they have us by the short and curlies. That is the reality of it. They think that people need to try, and people do need to get the train in some instances to get to work. So therefore they'll inconvenience us by not doing that, by taking away that. But I don't know, I think I read today that apparently the past 24 hours, all the young people, Jed, the laptop generation, they've just stayed at home. They didn't bother. I mean, they can do their job at home. They were used to doing it at home.
Well, most of the laptop generation are at home playing, PS3 and might even be a PS4, and I don't know. It shows how old I am.
When you're age, Jed.
Absolutely. It shows I don't play games. I have to work for a living, like the rest of the people on this stream.
Yeah. So I mean, the other thing is, though, I don't know. Did you see there was a very great interview I saw? It was Kay Burley did an interview with Mick Lynch. Mick Lynch is the chief honcho of the strikers, and I don't know if you saw it, but it's a real train, pardon the expression, a train crash interview, because she kept asking him, well, Mr. Lynch, what exactly, what are you picketing? What is it picket? And wherever he was standing, Jed, there was about half a dozen picket people in the background. He just said, well, that's picketing over there. And I thought he handled her very well, actually. So look, I have no time for unions. I don't basically believe in trade unions.
No, neither do I, David. If you look at trade unions since what, early 1970s, they've destroyed British industry.
They did.
From the inside out. They talk about Thatcher closing the mines down and what have you. The bottom line is they destroyed the British car industry, which was one of the world leaders. They've destroyed the steel industry. They helped to destroy the coal industry. They do it every time. And the only industry that they can't destroy are the civil service, teachers, and trains.
Yeah, but
they just keep coming back for more and more and more.
Yeah, because teachers, apparently, I was reading, teachers here in the UK were saying, we're going to have to go on strike too because we need more money, but not until after the summer holidays. They're
going to have the 6 weeks now. How dare you expect them to strike during the holiday?
A warm welcome to Summertime Sue, who's joined the stream, I can see. And we, the people, thank you very much for joining Nostromo, all of you guys, Borny Boy, etc., over on the Gettrs. Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is that teachers who basically have had most of the last 2 years sat fully paid on their backsides at home watching Netflix, gorging on Deliveroo and the rest of the carry-out food they could have. Now, they're not happy because our salaries aren't keeping up with inflation. Well, yeah, no, I get that. I mean, look, Jed, I don't know how you feel, but we have inflation. The Bank of England's pretending it's 9%. It's not. But even if you go with that 9-10% inflation, that's going to rocket up to about 12-15%, in my view, by the autumn, and that is giving people problems. I totally understand that, and I think we should understand that trade unions exist for the selfish motives of their members, which you might say is kind of fair enough. I mean,
that's what they're there for. I get it, David. They're there to always ask for more More for less. That's what they want. More for less. But I'll go back to the train driver. So between 60 and 70,000 pounds, I think it's 70k in London.
Yeah.
And do you know, in his day, I might get this wrong, but generally I'm right. If you see what I'm saying, but they'll do in the, I think it's a 12-hour shift. They'll do a journey. Then they have to stop for 3 hours, rest for 3
That's
hours,
right.
and then they'll do a journey.
You're right.
And that is their shift. Okay. And then obviously I think they do something like 4 days on, 3 days off, or 4 days on, 4 days off.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, let's say it's four on, 4 off, they do half a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
You divide it down, they're doing half the year. The amount of days that you could possibly work in a year, they're doing half of them for 60 grand a year. And even in the working day, during the day, they've got 3 hours off. I'm lucky if I get 5 minutes to grab a sandwich for my lunch in my 8-hour day.
I know. Yeah. Although Jason O'Brien makes a really good point here. He says, Jed, in lockdown, we discovered, and this is a good point, I think, we didn't need schools and teachers to teach children. Homeschooling was working well. And then eventually they panicked and wanted kids back in school. Look, the way I see it, especially, and by the way, to all you Americans watching this, I mean, your schools are so screwed with the sort of absolute lunatics, which I keep putting up social media commentary on. Your children aren't really safe from some of the groomer predatory class who operate within the classroom. And that's before you get to events like Uvalde, which we've covered extensively over the past 3 or 4 weeks, So kids aren't safe in the schools, I don't think, in the States. But here in the UK, Jet, I'm not sure it's that much better because, we've got very woke teachers on these really big salaries, total job security, Jet. No one's going to sack a teacher. No one's got, their pensions are safe. And that's only because of people like you and myself, I suppose, as well. The people who actually in the private sector work actually.
Well, see, that was going to be part of my point earlier, David. The unions go out for all these people, like train drivers, nurses, you name it. But they never go out for the private sector, do they? They never, ever go out for the private sector. Well, I have never seen a union threaten to go on strike, for example, to pay. I won't tell you know what sort of job I do, but for people like me, or secretaries in any business or whatever it might be, the lads that work in the warehouse. You don't see the unions going out on strike for them for 12% pay rise. No, they go for the state-funded people where the taxpayer is already paying. So what they really want is to go, hey, taxpayer, we know you're having it tough, but we don't care because we want more taxes out of your pocket so we can pay these fat idle train drivers. Oh, sorry. These highly skilled train drivers on, they're only on 60, 70K. We need them to be on more like 80, 90K.
They're in poverty. These poor train drivers. Stu Frost wants to know, Jed, can you give him any makeup tips? These are your beauty secrets, Jed. This is.
I can. You've got to ensure you got plenty of foundation. The foundation to makeup is foundation.
There you go. There you go.
Your question answered. It's not quite a Q&A, but I don't mind.
And also, Jason, by the way, the whole thing about pensions, there's a massive pension bomb ticking away in the background. And yes, I shall cover that. It's something, especially as I get older, you become more and more interested. What Jean says here, my car is £34 or thereabouts to fill for years. Inflation cost me 57 quid yesterday. Home heating oil the same. 300 or thereabouts. End of May, it's up to 740. Yes, Gene Wallace, and let me tell you something, and I hate to say this, but by the autumn, I believe that petrol will be well over £2 a litre, whatever we pay in the UK. It's just going to keep going up. Same with oil as well. This is not to do with anything other than the suicidal policies of the West, so-called sanctions against Russia.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But Jason, I think it is a valid point. There is a pension disaster looming. And part of that pension disaster looming is because we've just printed 400, well, in the UK at least, 400 billion extra pounds.
That's worse in the States. It's worse. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's worse in the States, but that's why we've got inflation. They're saying Ukraine, Putin, utter rubbish. It's because we spent 2 years lockdown paying everybody to be at home with £400 billion worth of money that they didn't have.
Now, it's interesting, Jed, because we've been chatting about, like, British train drivers, and I see our friend Donegal. Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. She's saying that over in Hawaii, a unionized bus driver starts on about $60,000 a year with benefits. I mean, Donegal, this is not sustainable. This is the problem with leftism. Eventually, they run out of your money. They will run out of your money. That's a problem. Stu Frost says he paid $1.91 for petrol last night. Yeah, it's going up over £2. And actually, Gene Wallace, the price of oil is going to go more and more and more. This is where the point you make, Gene. How could you live in a pet on a pension and afford all this? Well, I'll give you the answer, Gene. You can't.
The thing is that with Donegal, for the UK market, that's just short of 50k a year. It's 48,880 something.
Smart. Listen, the sooner we get self-driving buses, the better as well. We don't need buses, David. We just need people to be able to have cheap fuel to put in their car where they can drive from A to B. We don't need public transport. Public transport is a means of controlling where you go when you go. Well, that's right. Exactly. That's a very, very good point. Actually, I agree with that there. Okay, right. Well, talking of disasters and so on and so forth, want to move on. I'm now jumping across. We're zooming across the Atlantic, like we're eco warriors on our way to the climate change conference, flying first class naturally in our private jets, and we are wanting to talk about the continued debasement of the U.S. military. And this is relevant to all of us because, of course, all around the world, other nations such as China, Russia, and all the rest of them, they look to see what's happening in the States. So let's pull up, Jed, what exactly is happening in the States. And here we have it. I wonder what our American...
Wokefest.
Yes. U.S. Navy releases a children's show-style instructional video to train sailors on... Unbelievable this. I can't believe I'm saying these things. Proper gender pronouns and quote, creating a safe space. Woke flakes maybe. And actually, Jed, if you scroll down into the article a little bit, because it's like, I
mean, look at them two. Look at them two. They are clowns, absolute clowns. That is a bi-trans gender LGBT jumper because it's got the black and the brown. What does race got to do with sexuality? God only knows. Anyway, sorry, David.
I know. Listen, it's a fair point needs to be made. Race has got nothing to do with this. And my big concern about this is that they're going to run out of colors. You see it because they've added the brown and the black, haven't they? They've added those colors.
Where's the white for me, David? Where's the white for me?
Well, actually, bring it back.
Well, I wear makeup, so obviously, because I've just give out makeup tips.
Well, you could be like Gary.
I should be a trans white, and I should be represented on that flag.
Yeah, well, you can. Yeah, or you could be like Gary Lineker, who appears to believe that he's African. But anyway,
of course he is.
Which most of us.
That's his lived experience. Don't you dare, David.
That's right. Yeah, but on this, Donegal says that her son's in the Navy, but he doesn't like this stuff. Of course not. Listen, and I'll say this with Jed on the stream. I mean, I believe some of the best of us, be it here in the UK, be it in the US, are the people who have historically gone into the armed forces. Be it the Navy, be it the Air Force, be it the Army. In my own experience of these people, they are often the very best of us, proper warriors. And they do it because a lot of them, Jed, as you know, have a love of their country, which is great. But this stuff, this absolute garbage about pronouns is absolutely undermining them. She says, "Hi, my name is Joni, and I use he, him Hi, my name is Johnny, and I use he, him pronouns," said Naval Undersea Welfare Center engineer Johnny Rosen. Hi, my name is Conchi, and I use she, her pronouns. Now, Jed, what is this all about? Because it annoys me.
Right. Well, first of all, they're referred to as preferred pronouns.
Oh,
so, if I say I prefer, for example, I prefer coffee to tea, that doesn't mean I don't drink tea. So, the fact that he uses him, he, I don't really care. He's a bloke. If he's got meat and 2 veg, he's a bloke. If he's got lovely, if she's got lovely jubblies, it's a woman. That's it. There are 2. It is binary. I agree with binary. There are 2. There is a male and a female. Full stop.
Yeah, but this is the U.S. Navy actually, and
wavy Navy.
Well, yeah, but nonetheless, at some point, I mean, they could be called upon to go into action in the South China Sea against the Chinese. The Chinese don't give a toss about preferred pronouns. I can tell you, they're more concerned
absolutely, and then that's the point, David. Your enemy does not care what your pronouns are, what flag you fly. What he cares about is killing you before you kill him.
That's right, Jed. And it's been like that from the beginning of time. You know, war is war. War's not about waving, virtue signaling flags, or in this case, deciding what your Jason O'Brien says the Navy was always dodgy. LOL.
Yeah, you're right, mate. I'm ex-army, so you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Jason,
Navy, and the RAF, while I'm digging in, they're checking into the hotel.
Yeah, we're not going too far into this one, but yeah. So I just think it's terrible to see the undermining of this. And the other thing about this, by the way, is that as part of this whole sort of woking of the U.S. military, I think isn't a critical race theory is, I'm not sure if it's in this article or not, but I am pretty sure that once they've got the gender stuff out of the way, it's all about teaching. Look at this. Instead of saying something like, hey, guys, you can say, hey, everyone, or hey, team. Again, imagine in a battle situation. Yeah. No one.
I still use that now at work. I call them guys, whether they're girls or guys. It's a friendly terminology for a group of people.
But don't forget, Jed, if you misgender someone, don't worry about it. There's a way back in the Navy's good graces. As long as you say it's not the end of the world and correct your bigoted behavior. Because actually to say, Jed, I think you just scroll down a little bit from the Navy training video here. It says, if you do make this error, then you can correct it. You're going to be okay. Now, of course,
no, never apologize, because if you apologize, you're appeasing them. If you appease them, you will always.
Hello. Oh, something's happened, Jed. Don't know what's happened, Jed system, but he's maybe the thought police have got him. I'm not sure. But by the way, Nostromo, I do enjoy your comment. Ship sinking, I now identify as a woman. Yeah. Just need to check to see what has happened here.
Am I back now, David?
You're back now, Jed. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I've had over the past couple of days because it's got warm. The old BT exchange down in town is having a hot sweat. It's in a 1970s building that should have been replaced in the 1960s.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I just as you were in full flow too, as well there. But yeah. But then the thing about critical race theory, which is a big problem for me, is, and you guys in the States are familiar with this, it hasn't caught on to the same degree in the UK. But this is basically hatred of white people. That's what critical race theory is. And when you consider, that that's a significant section of, still is, of American society, how can you possibly be teaching your warriors to hate themselves and expect them to respect it?
David, now you know what I've got lined up. How can you not want to follow this as your leader? This would inspire hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, look at that. That's a rear admiral, isn't it? Sorry, just an admiral.
No, you're absolutely right. Rear admiral.
Yeah, yeah. And look, the rear admiral and Jean-Pierre Lecard with their flag. That's an inspiration to
with the biracial flag.
Yeah, exactly. That's take that, Putin. Take
Oh
that.
yeah, he's pulling back now. Now he's seen that. Now that's been put out on Twitter. He's pulling back. The order has gone out to withdraw.
And don't forget Xi Jinping. He will have. He's probably seen that image, and he's panicked because he sees this is Joe Biden's America, and it's coming for them. Except it's coming. I mean, it is essentially as Republican Rocker calls it, USS gender dysphoria. Yeah, yes, but it is. That is about right. I mean, it's just frustrated patriot says here as well. Wonder what the Marines are doing. Everything there ends with, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. On a serious note, this is the planned demolition of our military prowess, I believe. I think there's a wicked agenda behind it. Gene, it is pantomime. Gene Wallace, I agree with that. But but it's worse than that. If it was just something we could laugh at, that'd be fine. But at some point, Jed, some of these people are going to have to presumably go into battle. What's going to happen to them?
This is serious, David. Absolutely. This is life or death. That's what it boils down to. Because the only reason you have a military is to kill. Yeah. And that's it. So it's a life or death situation. So what you now got is your trans. Oh, I've got my trans flag now. And how dare you shoot at me and not use my pronouns? Yeah. If you're going to kill me, I want you to kill me by saying he, him, or she, her, or Z, or whatever the other garbage they come out with.
Yeah, Z, Zer.
Z and Zer. That was it.
There's a good one. That always amuses me. Yeah. No, but I mean, we live at a time when the prospect of World War III has probably never been greater than since 1963, say, with the NATO shenanigans over Ukraine. And so, like, if you look at what's happening in Ukraine, like the Ukrainian military and the Russian military, Jed, aren't waving their rainbow flags. That's not happening because
David, you and Ilana, probably 8, maybe 10 months ago now, did an excellent piece on Hard Truth podcast and Hard Truth Rumble. You did a great piece where those promotional videos, to join the American army or join the Russian army, and you could see the contrast in those videos when I clipped them together and played them as one. It was absolutely unreal.
Yeah, I mean, it was depressing because you had the US wanting to talk about, the usual, all this garbage, right? You had the Russians being macho and the Chinese being fiercely patriotic. And if you looked at the three military operations, I have to say, Jed, as you say, Ilana and I did that over almost a year ago. It's a US military that was embarrassing. And I don't mean to insult friends here and all people who have got family in the military, but the people at the top of this, the people driving all this agenda in the States, they are turning fine fighting forces into fighting forces. But then again, at the moment, the US doesn't want to fight wars anyway. It wants Ukrainians to fight its wars for them until such times as they're all wiped out.
Yeah, no, absolutely, David. It's depressing. Having served the 22, and willingly served. And, as I was getting towards the end of my career, it started off with things like red cards and yellow cards, just like in football. Yeah. So when you've got a recruit or a young soldier in front of you and they drop, I won't say what word, but they drop something.
Yeah.
Then, they get yelled at. But you learn by that and you become stronger. And that all say, you break them down, you break the character to build a new character, a stronger character. To some degree, I agree with that as a principle.
Yeah.
But they then started going, well, if you get shouted at and it's too much, you can show whoever's shouting at you a yellow card. But if they continue to shout at them, you've then, and they're supposed to then withdraw from shouting at you. But if they continue, you can show them a red card and then they have to stop shouting at you. So, imagine it. I've got my LGBTQ PZ two-spirited, whatever it is, on my arm as a badge.
Penguin
I've got my
swear.
red and yellow card in my pocket, and I go over the top, and Ivan there is facing me down, 1,000-yard stare. And he starts shouting as he runs toward me. I go, don't shout at me, don't shout at me. Here's my yellow card. And he carries on shouting, and I pull out my red card. And unfortunately, by that stage, he's already on top of me and slitting my throat. Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, but that's right. And actually, that was one of the strange things about during the troubles that we had in Northern Ireland. One of the things that I felt bad for was British soldiers were expected to show yellow cards and red cards to terrorists. No. You don't show yellow cards or red cards to terrorists. You shoot terrorists. That's what you do. That's what your job is. But
the only yellow card I ever followed, David, is in the lovely place that you live. And that yellow card told me my rules of engagement, when I could shoot a terrorist and when I couldn't shoot a terrorist.
Which the right answer time is pretty much any time.
Well, yeah,
in my view. But
the only good terrorist is a dead one.
Donny Girl says maybe it's the psyops to think we are weak, but we're not. Well, Donny Girl, you see, at this point in the game, anything could be psyops. So you could be you could be right. But I often happen to think that the authorities, the people, especially in the States, but it's getting as bad in the UK as well.
Just answer Donny Girl, David. Yes, just like football, a yellow card and a red card.
Yeah, that's how it works, Donny Girl. That's clown world that we had. That is a clown world that serving soldiers had to put up with. Unbelievable. It was there. And back in those days, you see, Jed, we didn't have things like this. We didn't have the power of social media. And I know social media is a bit of a curse as well as a blessing. But now we can get stuff out there, which is what we try to do in this, I suppose, and with the podcast and all the rest of it. We're trying to put out information that maybe, expose some things and encourage people to ask questions, podcast down below. By the way, just while it's in my head before it goes out of my head, we are having a celebration on the podcast channel tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. I am pleased to tell everyone, Jed, and no least a testament to you, we've hit over 500,000 downloads on our podcast channel. And so we're going to have a bit of a party tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Join us. I think Jed will be streaming it across onto the Gettrs as well.
Yes, I'll do my best. As you can tell, I've had a couple of internet issues, but I will do my best to stream it, David.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, the thing about it is, if you come onto the podcast channel itself, you can actually come into, there we go. You can come into the studio and actually talk. We can hear you. You can hear us. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Make it a date. Come across. We've got 500,000 downloads, and believe you me, we're just starting. Right. So let's move on then, Jed. We see the issues that we've got in the U.S. military, but it's always good to finish with the most. I like to find the most stupid stories I can. Right. So let's, Jed, let's bring up this shocking case of racism that has come to our attention. Let's bring up on screen.
Yeah, I will. I just want to say this rocked me to my core.
Yeah,
I have been depressed ever since I heard the news.
Yeah. Yep, there he is, Gary Lineker, folks, an esteemed football pundit in the UK. He suffered racist abuse from other players because of my, quote, darkish skin. His darkish skin. But scroll back up again. Scroll back up to get a good look at him, Jed. Okay, folks.
A tan. He's been out in the sun.
So is he saying if you got a tan, that makes you look like an ethnic group? Because if he is, that's racism, Gary Lineker. That's racism. So this one, some of this stuff you actually couldn't write. I read this with amazement that Lineker reckons that, and you read through, it's all garbage. I mean, it's in the Sun, which is a rag, absolute rag. But he says he suffered.
I think I've actually got the clip, David, of him saying it. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I think this is the clip. I literally got it about 30 seconds before we went live. I can play it if you like.
So yeah, he knows what it's like to be an oppressed minority because he had a bit of a tan. and therefore presumably no one else, because he comes from Leicester. Maybe, I'm not sure if you get any sun in Leicester, mind you. It could be a novel experience, I suppose. But if you're lining the clip up, Jed, I can continue with this. But there's Gary. Look at him. You got to admit, oh man, he's got a badly damaged arm there. I wonder why. What was he doing?
I remember him playing with that Bansies down. That was in a World Cup, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Gary Lineker is he was a very good footballer. I think, there he is looking ever so...
He's a very rich person as well, David.
He is. He's very, very woke. I remember Gary Lineker celebrated my exit from Twitter. Oh, I remember that, Gary. Thanks very much, Gene Wallace. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support and sending all the love to the channel. But there's Gary. He looks very ethnic to me, doesn't he?
He does. He's a well-dressed ethnic, as it goes.
He's very smart.
I'm sure that's Savile Row.
Yeah, Savile Row, and that's but as he explained, he got 48 goals for England. Yeah, good point. But lots of own goals as well. But the abuse came in his football career with comments being made about his skin color by fellow pros, despite being as English as they come. Okay, well, what I would say, Jed, at this point is, all right, Gary Lineker, name the people who made the comment.
That's it. You see, they don't.
Name
I do have that video, but I've also got a funny image as well, David. I think this suits Gary. Gary, I'll welcome refugees. Well, I'll put one in my house for a few hours and then
yes, right.
Off. Yeah. But I'll tell everybody else you have to have them. But I think this fits, David, to be honest.
Yep.
The story of Windrush with Gary Lineker.
Yeah, Gary looking on his way from the Caribbean to the UK. He did so well. He did.
Look at him there in his smart suit with his suitcase and his big ears.
As you can gather, American friends in the stream, no one takes this guy seriously at all. None of us do anyway. But of course, oh no, the BBC, he's one of their, I think he is actually, Jeff.
He's the top paid presenter.
Their top paid. So this guy who's bitching about the fact that, people thought I was a bit tanned and therefore they hurled racist abuse, even though they're unnamed. So we don't know who the people were. So did this happen in reality or did it happen in his head? Well, I guess we never know. I guess we know. Albert Clutterbuck says Lineker was well known for his regular scoring away from home, if you get my drift. I do get your drift, Albert Clutterbuck. I do understand. I see some other comments coming in. Lineker appeared in a KFC ad as the only white bloke, or did he? Well, see, yeah, he wasn't. He's not, because Gary appears to identify as a member of the ethnic minorities, which actually, Jed, I mean, it is kind of racist. He's as white as he's as pallid as me, apart from the fact I haven't got as much tan as him, because I'm not prepared to take experimental gene therapies to get to certain parts of the world.
Why not?
Exactly.
They're good for you. The 100%.
They are. I know. I feel so bad. I'm going to go out. I'm listening to Dr. Fauci. I'm going to be getting at least 6 standard vaccinations and maybe a handful of boosters as well. But as you rightly said, hello, YouTube. We love the vaccines. We super duper love them. And all the new ones that are coming along. We love them as well.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is the most highly paid person on the BBC that we're talking about, and 1.6 million a year. And Jed, he comes out with this kind of crap. And by the way, if you were a footballer in the 70s, Jed, and probably 80s as well, maybe, and there was racist abuse, no doubt about it. There was, and it may be limited, but there was some of it. How dare he try and put himself in the shoes of those young footballers who did get called. There was horrible stuff. No, it wasn't omnipresent, but there was some of it, and that was wrong. I disagree with anything like that. But I disagree with Gary Lineker pretending that he was in their shoes. What do you say?
He's just trying to get on the oppression pyramid, isn't he? The victimhood. That's what he wants, because everybody knows whatever he puts out on Twitter is utter garbage. So now he's going for victimhood so we can get some brownie points. That's a slight pun.
So to speak.
So we can get some brownie points to get him back up the oppression stack.
Yeah, well, but you're probably right. Actually, I think these people love to embrace victimhood. I think normal people, like everybody watching this, none of us want to be victims. We have our ups, we have our downs. That's just life, and we get on with it. We get on with it. But I don't go around looking to find some grievance. That I identify, with a particular group, so people will feel sorry for me. And anyway, what does it say about him? He's a multimillionaire. This guy is loaded. He enjoys a very good lifestyle, I would suggest.
I think he enjoys an excellent lifestyle.
Yeah.
1.6, 1.7 million pound a year of taxpayers' money for sitting on a show. What is it, once a week, maybe twice a week, for 90 minutes talking about football? Well, he doesn't for 90 minutes, does he? He talks before. Then they play for 45 minutes. He talks for 15 minutes. They play for another 45, and then he talks for another half an hour. So he probably does an hour a week.
Well, you see, I agree with our friend City Troll over in the Gettrs. He's saying real racism is a sin. Faking being a victim is criminal. I agree. Amen to that. And that's the point. In a way, hang on. Gene Wallace says, I've been to Spain, had less hassle than the fully jab. They had to queue up as four of us walked past them straight out of airport. Great stuff. Yeah, Jane, I haven't risked going to a Viva España or France or anywhere else at the moment because of all the nonsense. I might actually never do something. I mightn't travel again. But then there's a suggestion I might be in the States in the autumn. But how could that be, Jed? I'd have to see.
Would that all right, well, leave it at that. You can tell me in the green room after.
Secrets. But yeah, who's to say where I'm going to be? I'll tell you where I'm not going to be. France. I'm not going to France. But then by the looks of it,
it might be Viva Le Pen.
Well, the problem is that poor old Macron has had it's been brilliant watching the disaster that is Macron's party, the so-called centrist party. Not centrist, as you know, Jed, they're a bunch of globalist enforcers, and they're having a bit of a meltdown, and they've lost their majority, and France is basically ungovernable anyway. It in a sense, I do get a sense of Schadenfreude, a sense of pleasure watching other people's misery when it comes to people like Macron, Trudeau, Ardern, formerly Scott Morrison down in Australia, and Boris Johnson. I love to see them all being miserable. Makes me feel good.
I'm sorry. I have to agree fully, David. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If they're miserable, I'm happy.
And by the way, Chad, were you concerned to see that Boris Johnson, our beloved Prime Minister, was in hospital to have, what was it, his backbone?
I think a backbone inserted or extracted.
Right,
I can't remember. Yeah,
I think the operation failed.
We know Carrie's got his balls, so somebody else might have his. Might as well have his spine.
Well, I think it was his tonsils, wasn't it, or something?
Like I said, his balls.
Yeah. Well, honestly, when I see the headline Boris Johnson, I stop reading. Which is Jean says, my unjabbed daughter's heading to Italy early July, nothing needed at all. That's really interesting, Jean, because one of my favorite countries, the one I've probably been to the most often apart from America, the US, has been Italy. I love Italy. I love so much about Italy. Be interested to know, Jean. Do let me know how your daughters get on. Hope they have a lovely time.
I might be going to Japan actually next year, where I believe I will need nothing either.
Yeah, well,
you need nothing now. In fact, I think you need one test going out there, but that's it. So I won't be going until that's withdrawn. Once that's withdrawn, there is nothing in Japan that you need. It's the UK saying you have to have a test before you leave, not Japan.
Yeah, it was a strange thing, Jed, going through the airports at the weekend. I traveled through a couple of airports, and there were still people wearing masks. By the way, people on the flights wearing masks, but it was a small number. And actually, I was really pleased about it. And this is to all you people in the south of England that follow us. I was really quite pleased to see that the overwhelming majority of people certainly down in Bath where I was were unmasked, but a big chunk of the tourists, Jed, were masked. The tourists.
Yeah, where I was this afternoon, and you know where that was.
Yeah.
I saw one person masked. Everybody else was unmasked. I was half expecting when I got there for him to say, "Would you mind wearing one?" I would say, "Yes, I do mind wearing one."
Yeah.
You could, you know.
Yeah, shove it. Yeah.
I would have used those nice words.
I wonder, will the Stu says he saw a woman in his gym today masked up. Was she robbing it? Had she a gun in one hand? And who on earth would go to the gym wearing a mask? I mean,
well, some people pay a lot of money to go to a gym. Oh no, it wasn't a gym. It was a dungeon with a mask. Sorry. I'm getting my.
Oh yeah. Listen, interestingly, Donny Girl points out her son is stationed in Japan, and her first grandchild is due in November. Congratulations, Donny Girl.
Yeah, congratulations. I think actually from the UK, you only need a PCR test to go. That's it. You don't need jabs or anything like that. You don't get checked into Japan, and when you're leaving, you don't get checked leaving.
And Jason makes a really interesting point that at Birmingham Airport, when they opened the gate, they suddenly said Ryanair said you had to wear a mask to board the plane. It wasn't true, but I had to buy a mask. What a scam! Well, there's no way. There's just no way. You know, like I traveled on an EasyJet flight because that was they had the route, and you know there was no way.
I don't know. I don't know how Leslie Butler can say that. Even the GPs are unmasked now. Have you ever seen a GP in the last 2 years?
No, I don't think they exist.
I thought we sacked them all.
No, I think they've gone the way of the dodo. I don't believe that GPs exist. They may have died off. Maybe COVID killed them all. That's possible, I suppose. But I've certainly not seen one in several years. And I defy anybody on the stream to say they have seen a GP. Donny Girl said, just remember, in Japanese culture, they wear masks for anything. Yeah, they do. Well, historically, they've also, Donny Girl, I'm sure you were probably more familiar with me, Japanese history with some of the, was it the Ishido masks and stuff? Really interesting culture. Yeah, it's I know there is an Asian thing wearing masks, but that's more to do with pollution. And I suppose a sense of maybe hygiene. I don't know. But anyway, I don't think, Jay, they're going to get us back into masks. It'll be really interesting to see if the new deadly Omicron BA.4, BA.5, or the expanding monkeypox, which are really hyped, by the way.
Whoa. That's my brethren.
That's Simeon. That's Simeon.
Stop it, David. That's racism. That's
racism. Yeah, and we stand against racisms. But Leslie Butler says, "Okay, I work and they drink coffee." So I just think that these restrictions around the COVID thing, that they're going to struggle, I think, to get some of us. But then let's be honest. Oh, by the way, if you enjoy all this, don't forget you can buy me a coffee, help Jed and myself keep this channel on the rails, or go to the donor box, link below. You can do that as well. Thank you for the super chats. We have those who have sent those and the super stickers. I appreciate all that as we try to fight back against 3.8 billion funded BBC, which then pays Gary Lineker 1.6 million out of the money that it robs from the ordinary people of the United Kingdom. You know, I have to say, Jed, you know, for a long time, I have opposed basically state media. We don't need state media. In fact, I'll go one further. We don't need any of established media. To my mind, they're all dead. They've proven themselves to be just so frauds, criminal over COVID, over Ukraine, over whatever the next thing's going to be. Wouldn't you agree? Who needs the mainstream media?
Yeah, the mainstream media is cancer. Twitter is cancer.
Yeah.
If you really want to know what's going on, you go on Gab, you go on Gettr, you get away from mainstream media and mainstream social media, Facebooks, Twitters. They are cancer, and they're eating away at society constantly and breaking it apart.
No, you're absolutely right, Jed. And it is the mainstream media, and it's the big tech. It's Silicon Valley tech as well. They are all the hi, Gregulate, by the way. Nice to see you there. I just spotted you. Thanks very much for tuning in. And Brian Baru, good to see you. Brian's pointing out that monkeypox is speciest. Who are changing it? That's right. The who are changing their name because listen, there's loads we could talk about monkeypox, but we can't really talk about it because we're on the YouTubes and the Facebooks. But if you want to hear me about monkeypox on the podcast channel, you can hear my scathing views on monkeypox. And actually, in a way, I'm just rereading a book which I read about 6 months ago, Jed, or maybe longer. I think it's called Virology. Sam Bailey, the lovely Sam Bailey is one of the co-authors of it. And it's all about basically stuff that YouTube and Facebook wouldn't let us talk about, but it's the whole issues of the origins of lots of things like the whole AIDS, the whole HIV, COVID, all the stuff. It's a really interesting book. Hi, Jane Oxley, by the way. Good to see you there as well. It might be the typhoid. Could be the typhoid going to get us. We talked about that earlier, Jane. The fact that apparently, apparently the Londonistan has had a shocking outbreak of it. Yes, Leslie Butler, the good Dr. Sam Bailey, a big fan of her. I don't know how she survived actually out in New Zealand, given just how tyrannical that it's been there. And did you know, by the way, Jed, I don't know if you picked up on this. Yesterday was the first day in Canada that the unvaccinated were allowed to public travel and public transport from between states, between provinces.
What's happening to Castro then?
No. Well,
has he died?
Well, no, he's not died, but you see, there's a bit of an inquiry going on into exactly what he did during the couple of tyrannical years.
Yeah, emergency powers.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of these guys, a lot of tough questions being asked of them. Maybe they will all, like Dr. Fauci, catch the COVID at time when they are being asked to testify. So
this is it. Did you notice? That's what happened in the UK, wasn't it? Boris was in trouble, and the restrictions were lifted.
Strange, huh?
Fidel Castro in Canada, he's in trouble, and he's now lifting restrictions.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they are doing. But my concern is, and I think I put this out in one of the podcasts today, is that, the establishment knows that most of the sheep, Jed, will follow the herd literally, and they will do what they're told. And that's why, I hope between now and the end of the year, they don't bring back stuff. But my instinct tells me that they will in some way.
Yeah.
In some way, I wish it wasn't the case. I really wish it wasn't the case.
But David, I know you normally say this line, but we're over our hour.
We are.
But I do just want to get that extra plug in, if you don't mind. Tomorrow night, our special live podcast. It goes out every Thursday, but it's even more special for me, David, this week, because we have 500,000 downloads, which is a great achievement in 12 months, mate. And you can see that you need to be able to join in the show. You'll need to go to the Apple Store or to Google Play and get the Podbean app. Get yourself signed in there, and you can literally join us and ask us questions, and everybody will hear you. Put your points across. We would love to have you. If you go to the website, there is a link there to get the apps for whatever mobile you've got or cell phone you've got. Please join us tomorrow night. We'd love to have you in and a great chat. Yeah.
We're having a party. I'm gonna have a glass of wine when we're doing it. People say you shouldn't drink and podcast. To hell with that. I'm doing one tomorrow night, and I would urge you, if you're going to be around and we're going to have a bit of a laugh, we'll talk about whatever we want, because remember, it is free speech over there. On the YouTubes and the Facebooks, we can say whatever we want, and we do. So I encourage you to do that. As I say, I know probably most of you guys do follow us on there, but you could all come on the stream. You could call in. It's free as far as I know. And yes, Leslie, you're always really good. But hopefully you will all have a good time tomorrow night. Jed, I think, is that just about wrapped up? I think
it is, David. I know we always like to go, Oh, we've just. I'm going to put this up because it's a super chat, super sticker. So thanks again, Gene Wallace. Absolutely brilliant. Helps keep the show on the road. Every single penny counts.
Right, Donny Girl's gonna bring her gin and tonic. I'm bringing my glass of wine. Leslie Butler's having a glass of wine. We're gonna put the world to right tomorrow night in celebration of the fact that we have got 500,000 downloads in our first year. And as I said, we're just warming up. We're just finding our way around. And but it's every now and again, Jay, I think it's good to put the feet up, just sit back and just shoot the breeze and relax. And our great friend, City Troll, Paddy the City Troll, he will be with us tomorrow night. Jed will be with us tomorrow night. I'm not sure if our friend Ed will be with us or not. But
I'll put a link out as well on Gettr to the live show. Once you've set it up, David, I'll stick it out sometime tomorrow.
Right.
You can follow that link. But get the app, guys, and you can join in.
Yes, and you can actually talk to Jed direct. Ask him the questions that need to be asked.
But you want me answered. I do also do dressing tips as well, feminine dressing.
Fashion tips.
Care products as well.
Yep. So you got all that. You got a whole fashion session. I'll just be sitting back quietly in the background, glugging my wine.
A Q&A for Jed.
Yeah, Jed's Q&A tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Make sure you're there. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. Thanks all of you folks on the various streams. Thanks to the guys over in the Gettr. Thanks for being here there. Thanks for all the guys over on the YouTubes. Thank you for being there, and also on the Rumbles and the rest of the platforms as well. It's always a pleasure to spend an hour with you on a Wednesday evening. So listen, I, believe it or not, have another stream to go, and I'm a guest on someone else's stream, so I have to go now. So on that note, as I say, we'll see you tomorrow night. Hopefully be there or be square.
8 p.m. 8 p.m.
8 p.m. See you then, folks. That's it. Bye-bye.